So it's Saturday, and like you guys know, I don't really record videos on Saturdays, but I figured this was a special circumstance because one of my most anticipated fragrances that are coming out, RALPHS CLUB PARFUM, finally just arrived, and I wanted to do my first impressions. So in this video, I'm going to be doing exactly just that. So without further ado, let's get it. Alright my guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back with another fragrance video. Again, today in this video, I'm going to be doing another first impression of a new release. This time it's going to be of RALPHS CLUB PARFUM, which is a follow-up to the original Eau de Parfum, which is a lavender heavy fragrance. It has woods in there, and it has some sweetness that is reminiscent to the YSL Y line. Before I get into the video, if you guys could show my like and subscribe buttons a little bit of love, as well as considering leaving a comment below. Let me know if you're excited about this release, as well as if you're not, what other new releases are you looking forward to. So with that said, I'm going to get straight into this. Again, I'm going to match it up to the original. So again, it's the flask looking fragrance. I'm going to spray the original on my left wrist and have that sit there. And then again, we have RALPHS CLUB here. I'm going to start to unbox the box here. Don't want to spend too much time on the box, but there it says RALPHS CLUB. It says Ralph Lauren Parfum, 3.4 ounce. I believe this was $140 on Ulta's website. So I'm going to pair the two bottles next to each other. So there's a difference here. As you can tell, this one's glossy and this one's matte. It also has the feeling of matte as well. It's almost like the back of a phone, like a phone case or something like that. So you got the top that's still that shiny chrome, and then you have this, which is the matte black, which I actually like better than the original. It's not as reflective. I actually like it a little bit better. It looks a little bit more classy. And then you have the R and the diamond, and then you also have the word parfum listed right there. You still have the flask style bottle, so it's actually really nice. And then I'm going to spray that on my right wrist. Atomizer is the exact same for both of them. This is advertised as a woody amber fragrance. The main notes that you get in it, from what it says on Fragrantica, is lavender, cardamom, vetiver, and patchouli. Okay, so it's not quite what I was expecting. I mean, I was expecting it to be closer to a true parfum, and it is. It seems like, just based on the opening sniffs, it's about 90% similar to the original. There are some noticeable differences here, though. The original, to me, just to let you guys know, seems like it's the better option just based off the opening. It's more up my alley. It's a sweeter take on it. The parfum, actually, just based on... Yeah, definitely. Based on first sniffs, the original is more of a sweet lavender that has this like ambery vanillic background, as well as just kind of like that YSL Y DNA. Very small feeling in there where it gives it this fresh spiciness. This one seems like it's a little bit softer, a little bit more intimate, and it's focusing more on like a lavender woods. And then you can still get that ambery sweetness in the background, but the sweetness isn't there. It's not as in your face as the original. And just based on these opening sniffs, I do like the original better, just based on the opening sniff. It's very close, but this one's a little bit more woody than sweet, and this one's a little bit more sweet than woody. Again, it's like lavender sweet with a touch of woods. This one's lavender woods with a touch of sweet, just in the opening. This one does feel like it projects more in the opening, and this one seems a bit more intimate. But just focusing on the parfum here, again, this is the bottle. Focusing on the parfum, I'm getting here in the opening, lavender is the main note, obviously. You're getting a touch of woods in there. I can't really pick out what the woods are. It just seems like it's a muddled woods, very similar to the original. And then in the background, you're getting this sweetness, which feels like it's from the amber, as well as like a little bit of a freshness. I'm guessing from the cardamom as well, because there's a little touch of spiciness in there as well. But if you want me to summarize it, to simplify it, it's just a slightly less sweet, a little bit more intimate version of the original, which isn't bad, but based on opening sniffs here, would I pick it up? If I had to go into a store and I smelled the two of these, which one would I pick up at first sniffs just from the opening. And a lot of people buy their fragrances, especially not people in the fragrance community, they buy off the first smell. So the first impressions, the first 15 minutes, this one is going to be the better option, in my opinion. With that said, I'm not going to sit here and just smell and then tell and smell and tell, because it's not going to change that often. So I'm going to wait about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to go ask my wife what she thinks, come back and just give you a detailed opinion of what I get from the opening hour. So with that said, I'll be back in just about 45 minutes to an hour. All right, my dudes, so it's been 2.5 hours since I put this on. I know I said that I would only wait an hour, but after an hour, it wasn't really changing that much, and then it started to, so I wanted to wait. So I told my daughter and my wife, I showed them both, and I showed them after my video, and then also as soon as an hour mark hit. And so I'll let you know what they thought. But as far as the fragrance itself, has it changed after this amount of time? Yes, kind of. So as you worked your way about a half hour to an hour into the fragrance, they started to become so close that it was almost, it was so hard to be able to tell which one was which. And since I knew what wrist it was on, I was able to. So I asked my wife as soon as I sprayed these on and did after my video, she said that she likes this one better, although they both smell good. This one was just a little bit sweeter and just pushes out a bit more, and that's pretty much the words that she was using. And then my daughter said the same thing pretty much. She just said she liked this one better, even though they're both good. I agree, both of them said the same thing that I said. This is a good fragrance. Is it great in comparison to this? No, there's not much of a difference here, especially in the dry down. So like I said in my original video for the original RALPHS CLUB Parfum, when you get to the dry down, the only thing that changes is the lavender dissipates into the background. You get some of the synthetic woods coming in, as well as this ambery facet that really is like a sweet vanilla, or like a sweet ambery vanilla in the background. And with the Parfum, there's not much of a difference there. As far as the opening wasn't as sweet, but as you work your way into the dry down, that lavender really does dissipate. And then you get a little bit of that synthetic woods. And then you get, if I was nitpicking here, I would say a little bit more of like a smoother amber in this one compared to the original. But that's just nitpicking. They're about 95% similar, especially in the far dry down. There's one thing that kind of makes me nervous about this fragrance, though, as a parfum, is that I was trying out the eau de parfum in my previous video. If you didn't see that previous video, I'll put a link to it right up here. So the eau de parfum was really nice in the first 2 hours. Then it was projecting around moderate, and then as soon as 2 hours hit, it was almost completely gone, down to a skin scent. And it only lasted on my arm to the point where it was almost non-existent until about 4 hours. So for an eau de parfum, that's still pretty bad. For the parfum itself, even though I'm only 2.5 hours in right now, I'm down to the point where I had to stick my nose into it. It's not to a full skin scent yet. It's to where it's like more intimate. It's about 2 inches away from my skin. And if I had 2.5 hours for a parfum, that makes you think, wait, should I pay for this fragrance, or should I just buy the eau de parfum, which is $60 cheaper? I mean, $60 cheaper, and then just respray it after 4 hours. I don't know, because if I'm already at a skin scent, and a lot of you guys, I know you don't want a skin scent. You want something that projects. You want room fillers. And so even if you're not getting a room filler, you still want something that's going to hit someone's nose that's 3 feet away for the first few hours at least. And so both of these do that. It's just they both died it down to a skin scent. But how long do they stay a skin scent is the question. And the parfum seems like it's going to last about 6 hours as a skin scent. But most of you guys aren't going to care about that. So to me, if I had to give you my opening thoughts on this, I would still say the eau de parfum is probably the better option, just because it has that sweeter, better opening. And about 90% of people who are not in the fragrance community, if they're buying a fragrance, they want to buy based on that opening 15 minutes, and the opening 15 minutes of the eau de parfum is the better option. Also, they both project moderately for the first 2 hours, and then they both die down to a skin scent. So at that point in time, it doesn't really matter unless you're one of those people that just like skin scents for some reason. So the parfum, is it good? Yes. Is it worth the price? Unsure. It's just unclear to me at this point in time. I'm going to have to give it some more wears. I will update you on my channel and do a full review here soon. But at this point in time, I'd still say the Eau de Parfum is the better buy, in my opinion, because you're getting it, like this one was 80 bucks, this one was 140. It's just, I don't think it's worth the price. But is it a good fragrance? Yes. Is there any much of a difference from the original? It's just a little bit less sweet in the opening. Once you get to the dry down, it has a little bit more of a sweetness. When it just gets a little bit sweeter as you get to the dry down, it's more of an intimate scent. But other than that, it's a good fragrance. Through and through, it's going to be a good release. A great release? No. But yeah, thank you guys very much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you've tried this or what you're anticipating about it. But thank you guys very much. I'll be back with another one. Thanks for joining me, and peace.